you about a subject that many of us have heard bits and fragments about, and that is metal that was found in the Roswell debris field.
Well, this is perhaps the most fascinating story, because here we're going from being an indirect witness to being a direct witness, because she said that she actually got to handle the metal.
Someone actually showed you a piece of something.
Yeah.
Was this during the same period of time?
51, 52. He walked in and he threw it on my desk. It was a piece that's about this big. And it was
about half of the size of a business card?
Yeah, about that size. And it was bent like this. And he says, June, you're a good wrecker. Tear that thing apart. And I took it and I bent it and I twisted it, laid it back down, and it got right back the same shape. He says, try cutting it. I got on my desk, I got my scissors out, and I snipped at it, and there was no way I could even cut that piece of metal. And it was as light as a feather. I had it in my hand. I would say that it didn't weigh as much as these two cards. It wasn't that heavy. It was so light, but strong, and it was the thickness would be about that thick. And so strong, it was sort of a grayish gunmetal type of color. And you could see that on the inside there was there was coating on the outside. Both sides of it was the same. And the inside seemed to have a sort of a light lead-colored center.
What were the edges of this like? Were they even, or was it like part of something else?
It was even, not even. And I said, what is it? He said, it's a piece of spaceship. So I just come back from New Mexico, and I promised him. He had no business having in the first place.
So he was back in security.
He was. Definitely. I always look at things, metal things, and I still have that curiosity because it still bothers me. And I have yet to see anything that have those properties and look like that. And so light.
And in context, the situation was, I believe, that she was a young woman working in an office, and as has happened before in the history of the world, I think that a male was trying to impress a female, and he said too much and did too much, which is that he walked up to June kind of flirting and flippant and pulled a piece of this metal out of his pocket and then asked her to tear it up. Asked her to try and destroy it or have some effect on it. And no matter what she did, she couldn't dent it, she couldn't tear it, she couldn't cut it or anything else. And yet, as she described very well, that when you folded it up, it would return to its original shape, and it didn't look like anything had happened to it. And when she asked the officer, what is it? His response was, it's a piece of a spaceship. Now, she told me later on, this was not on the recording, that what happened was that somebody else walked in the room, and as soon as somebody else walked in the room, he jammed the metal into his pocket, and that was the last time she ever saw it.
This metal, I understood that it was about the size of a standard business card, but I did not understand how thick it was.
It's not very thick. I think like maybe a couple, 3, 4 business cards stuck together. I remember her holding her fingers like that. But every time she would say anything like that, she emphasized, but it was as light as a feather. It weighed